talking about the Nevera and what we wanted from that car. So I think this car literally ticks all the boxes from what the car needs to be.
What have you done? And I was like, is it bad? Is it good? What is it? He said that the car was a crack pipe on wheels.
And 2 weeks later, he needs to pay the money, but it's not coming. The money is not coming.
Made a short circuit on the battery because I was too tired and I was assembled and there was fire.
Ali dobro, taj trenutak, to je bio muk u firmi, svi su, nije se dogodilo, nemoguće.
Like if you do 99% of effort, that 1% of luck is going to help. But if you don't do the effort, there's no such thing as 20 or 30% of luck.
We got into some difficult times due to an asshole. So we can call him, I think Mate call him John. I'm gonna call him Gary. That might or might not be his real name. Chinese company, Camel, they're still an investor. And so they said, like, we're gonna invest in the company. These are the terms, these are the conditions and so forth. And we were kind of close to accepting that. And then comes Gary. And Gary comes with his private jet. He loves the company, he loves Mate, he loves the team, he loves everybody. He's a very outspoken guy, and he promises much better terms. 2 weeks later, he needs to pay the money, but it's not coming. The money is not coming. And he said, like, he paid. There's some kind of confirmation and so on. We were trying to rationalize his behavior, but he was just lying. So he didn't pay, and the whole company can go bankrupt.
Bilo je tada jako gadno. Na mjesečnoj bazi se mijenjalo, imamo novog investitora pa ga nemamo jer je frajer nešto zajebao.
This was the day before the Frankfurt Auto Show 2011 opened. We lost our investor, or the investor didn't do what he was supposed to do. So we were also completely out of money. And I have no idea how we managed to do this, but this truck arrived like a day earlier. Please, 1 hour more, 1 hour more, 1 hour more. And he was there day and night until, like, this was in 4 in the morning, the day when we were supposed to be in Frankfurt, loading the car. And, like, still, when the car was still, like, in the truck, we were still trying to finish the last details before it went to the Frankfurt Auto Show. So it was really tight.
The first task which I got and the first day in my life in company was, okay, now you have to do Koenigsegg battery. I got requirements for Mate. We need to give a lot of power, as much as you can. Our logistic guy, Ante Rimac, he was waiting for 2 nights because I was promising him, yeah, we will be finished today and we go today.
I onda smo krenuli tek sutra dan, neka poslije podne, 3, 4, 5. I bilo je prvih, 300 kilometara. Pazi na kočnicu, drži dovoljan razmak, nemoj slučajno da zakoči, iako smo mi nju zavezali sve, da zakočimo, ako udari mogla bi eksplodirati. Ovaj siza vozi ovako uz nju. I kad smo prošli, napravili jedno 500 kilometara, ovako slava na bateriji, ja vozim 180 da stignemo na vrijeme, ušli smo u Njemačku, niko te ništa ne pita, samo gas.
Ali gore, kad vidiš u tome Koenigseggu smo tek shvatili koliko mi toga puno znamo i tad smo tek prvi put dobili nekakve zahtjeve iz autoindustrije šta treba napraviti uz auto da bi taj auto mogao izaći na cestu.
And up to today, this battery is still the most power dense battery pack in the world. Car can reach 200 on that very small battery pack without engine, so only motors from electric motors and battery. A battery you can lift it with your hands.
The Richard Hammond hill climb. Oh yeah, that wasn't that nice of a hill climb.
U Švicarskom na snimanju kad smo ostali bez 7. Ja sam bio... Ostali bez. A mislim...
Blago rečeno. A ja sam bio tamo kad se auto razbio. Ali dobro, taj trenutak, to je bio muk u firmi, svi su, nije se dogodilo, nemoguće. Prošli smo već svi na ravninu i dalje se samo vidio dima, nismo vidjeli auto. Stali smo se na rub provalije, gledali dole, je mala točkica bila auto naš koji gori. Samo smo gledali je li on preživio ili nije.
To je bilo strašno, cijela firma, svi mi koji smo bili tamo smo bili šta sad, šta će biti sutra.
Some people tell me that's the best thing that happened to you. It made Rimac famous. A lot of people heard about it, but it cost me 10 years of my life. I still remember that day so clearly, and it almost killed the company as well. It was so close to kill the company. So it's not really that great of a memory, but it's good because it ended well. But yeah, the whole thing was quite stressful.
An F1 champion coming to Zagreb to drive our car, I was like, okay, what this guy is going to make of it and what is he going to say about the car. I told him, this is a proto car. It's still not done. We still have some issues with the car. It's just for you to just get the first taste of the car and just to see how the car drives. Please don't push. And Nico, as soon as he smelled the blood, as soon as he felt the performance, he started pushing with the car. And we had an issue with the brakes that we ran into, and we had to stop on the middle of the road because the rear brakes got locked at one point.
You would read even in the newspapers, a prototype has stopped in the middle of the road and it had to be picked up and so on. Some people would be embarrassed, but for me it's also a good point. Guys, we really need to fix this.
And I thought to myself, okay, this guy is going to be, super pissed off because the test drive didn't go as planned. He was super nice about it. He was really ecstatic about it. He liked the performance. He started shouting and yelling with Mate and commenting on how the car was driving and all these things. So he understood that the car was in development. I mean, he also does these things, so he understands how things work.
You remember when we are talking about development cars and their history, you remember the car that we thought we need to destroy it for the crash test. And our CEO had a brilliant idea to take the €2 million car on a rally stage.
Before it got crashed.
Yes, because we need to crash it, so no
Funny story.
Funny story. We didn't need to crash it because all the tests we did were enough and we got all the certificates. And they just told us, we don't need any more crash, you can save the car. And the car was there with the destroyed tires, half of the body. I even remember Snježana crying when she saw the car. The car is still alive and we are still driving it and it's still in use.
Used and abused.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crash testovi. To je tako dobro krenulo. Crash testovi su odlično krenuli.
Da, prva mula, prvi MMU1 koji smo napravili, sa njim smo napravili 5 crash testova, onda smo ga još iskoristili za roof crash i svi ti crash testovi su bili u limitima, svi su bili zeleni.
Ekipa iz Kontija se čudila i rekli su da to nisu nikad vidjeli.
Da, prvo su nam se smijali kad smo došli tamo, ko ste vi, šta ćete vi tu? Na kraju Konti je imao na ulazu sliku Nevere dok smo homologirali tamo.
A uspjeli su nam izgubiti auto.
Da, to je bilo veselo kad se sjetim. To jutro je zvao Zlajo da provjeri jel sve u redu i kaže nema auta. Kako nema auta, poslali smo šta nema. I onda se sjećam da sam ja čak našla da sam imala potvrdu da su preuzeli auto i onda ispalo sam da im je negdje nestao u skladištu.
Izgubili auto na skladištu.
Par sati prije testa su ga uspjeli pronaći.
We went for a couple of drives and it was really, really cool. The roads are super nice. We were driving around Malibu. We were working with professional journalists that knew how to drive. And there's a traffic jam. We stopped in a traffic jam. And I'm looking in the rearview mirror and I see this guy flying in with the bike. And I go there's no time to even say anything. And I just see the guy disappear and from a rearview mirror and I hear this shunt behind, the guy, hit the car. And first thing I'm thinking is the guy okay and where is he? Because he flew basically over the car. He's okay, he's bruised up a bit. And at that point, reality kicks in. In 4 days, this car needs to be brand new on the stand and shine in front of the people. What do we do now? And Ronnie and the crew were still about to fly in, and I know that we don't have parts. So as soon as I can, I get on the phone and I call them and I say, okay, we had a huge shunt. I'm going to send you some pictures. Let's see what we can do about it, because I don't know if we even have spare parts in Zagreb. Ronnie and the guys took the parts and they actually took the rear bumper, the whole rear bumper, wrapped it in stretch foil. I don't know how they got on the plane with it. The guys pulled a massive work around the car and they made it work. The car made it to Pebble Beach. Perfect, absolutely perfect. I'd really like to have a conversation with that guy. Unfortunately, we lost contact with the rider that hit us. Well, it'll be interesting to hear the story in between him and the insurance company. We'll be like, you hit what?
Our motto is always go the extra mile. And a good example of that is the Valkyrie, where when I came to the first meeting, they weren't sure if they want to make a hybrid car or a combustion engine car.
How can we de-risk this? Like, how can we show them that we're the right partner? And we asked them to send us over the usage data or the profiles for the testing of the battery and the testing of the car.
And then, we went back home and we immediately started working on it, and we actually built a prototype of that battery like super fast. Damir Cindrić and those guys were working day and night. And then we took this profile, put it on our test bench, and tested the battery. Like, I don't know, in a couple of weeks we tested the whole lifetime of the battery, proving that if you drive that car for its design life, the battery wouldn't degrade. Like, it would still retain its capacity and power and so on. So we had the physical battery, we had the tests that prove performance and that prove longevity and that prove safety and all of that.
We went to the meeting. On the meeting, we had a discussion with the Aston Martin guys, and they were like, okay, let's do this, and like, let's listen to your story. Okay, why you should do the battery and so on, and we don't think this is the right way to go. You shouldn't do like a submerged battery, it's not gonna work, blah, blah. And then Mate opened up the presentation. I think it was like 100 pages, like his usual presentations, and it had like all of the data really shown. And they were just like listening for him for, I think, half an hour, explaining why it works.
They couldn't believe it because they just expected to talk, and then we had already done everything and proved everything, and there was no more discussion. We just did it. They didn't pay us for it. We went the extra mile, and they would never have chosen a company like us to do that otherwise.
They were like, basically, we don't have any arguments not to give you the project now. Like, so you took away all of the arguments for not giving you the project. So that was cool.
And it's a very tricky thing because you cannot give the car unprepared to somebody. You only have one chance for the first impression.
Šta smo čekali? Uvijek nam je bilo kad ćemo dati auto Chris Harris. Konačna potvrda.
When we gave the car to Chris Harris, I wanted to have this conversation with him before he jumps in the car, explain some of the things of the car and stuff like that, and I was really anxious. And he just showed up, took the car, flew off. And I was like, okay, he's gonna come back. He hates electric cars. He's gonna come back. He's gonna say that the car is no good. I didn't have any time to explain some things to him and stuff. And I was like, okay, it is what it is. Let's wait. Comes to the parking lot, lowers down the window, and I'm standing by the car. It's still raining, and he asks me like, "What the f*** have you done?" And at that point, I'm by the car, and I was like, that can mean a lot of things. And I was like, what do you think? And he says, the car is a crack pipe on wheels. Whenever he would go on the power, like, he would be so overwhelmed with the acceleration and with everything. He told us one thing that really got me, like, it really pinched me at that point. Like, I knew that we had a good car, but he compared it to a 959 Porsche of today. And that for me was like, he's probably right.